here from Knit Collage, and I am so excited today to share one of my most favorite people and valued Knit Collage contributors, Cheryl Kubat, with you. She's going to tell us a little bit about the latest pattern she has coming out with us, which is the Diamond Crop Tee. Before we dive into all of that, I thought it would be really fun to hear about how she came to knitting and where she is right now in the world and all that good stuff. So Cheryl, if you can just let us know where you are right now in the world and how you found knitting, how it became this important thing to you.
I currently live in Newburyport, Massachusetts. It's north of Boston. Been here for about 20 years with my family, my husband and 3 children, 1 dog and 12 chickens. I first learned how to knit when I was about 9 years old. And like every other 9-year-old, I put it away for a while. And then the first sweater I ever knit was on my winter break freshman year of college. Got home from school and my mom said, okay, you're not going to be sitting around here for a month. Make this. And she handed me a pattern booklet of Lopi Icelandic sweaters. So that's how I started with my first sweater. Knit a lot of those for friends, family, and then stopped knitting for a while until my first child was born, and then knit for him like crazy up until he was about in first grade. He said, Mommy, it's too hot to wear your sweaters to school. So I stopped knitting again and put it away until my twin daughters were born. And then I needed something to keep me sane. And I picked up the needles again and haven't stopped since. They're now 17 years old. And I have to constantly have something in my hands, whether it's knitting, crocheting, rug hooking, something creative.
I can completely relate. I can't sit in a car. I can't watch TV. Like, if I have nothing, I'll grab a magazine and just look at pictures. I think a lot of people are going to relate to that. So at what point did you start designing patterns? Was it when we met, or was it must have been before that, right?
It was before that. I would see sweaters on people on the street or see them in magazines and, wanted to make them or whatever. And so started figuring out how to do that. And then I would be knitting other people's patterns and thinking, oh, well, I wouldn't do it this way. I might try it this way instead, till eventually I got to the point where I pretty much knit my own stuff. I don't mean to sound like a snob or anything like that, but I can make it fit me the way I want it to. And that's where I am.
I love it. Okay, so this is kind of personally something that, like, I think about a lot with you. You just have such a cool, unique aesthetic and style. You think of things I would never think of. They're oftentimes more fashion forward than I can even imagine. And I love that there's now this like level of trust where I'm like, okay, you just go do your thing. So like, where do you think that comes from? Was there just kind of always an interest? Like, I'm sure the sweater you're noticing on the street or in a magazine is not the one like the average Joe knitter is.
No, I think I've always had an interest in fashion. My sister actually went to RISD and studied fashion design. And, we were very close in high school. And I think that's where it all started, where we would take clothes and cut them up and do different things to them and make them our own. She has gone on into the industry, and I've gone on to a different part of that industry. But I think I've always had an interest in clothing, and it's a personal expression. It tells a little bit about who you are on the inside. You get to paint yourself with whatever you feel like wearing: color, texture, shapes, all of that.
I love it. I couldn't agree with you more. We definitely would have been friends in high school. So you have designed countless patterns for Nick Collage, and this is just the latest one. We could talk endlessly about those, but I thought it would be really fun to talk about this one because I love it. I actually hadn't tried it on until yesterday, and we had photographed it on a model and it looked so cute on her. But once I tried it on, I was like, oh my God, this is the most flattering sweater ever, and so cute. And I feel like it's going to be a great piece to layer later too. So I'm really excited about it. For those that are interested, I did a video that is on YouTube, sort of all about the details and the fit, but you can see it right here.
It looks awesome.
It's so cute. So tell us how the idea came to be and just a little bit about your creative process. I think that'll be interesting for people.
So generally speaking, my creative process doesn't happen in one spot or at a particular time. It happens all the time. I could be at the grocery store and see somebody wearing something that's really cool, and my daughters make fun of me because sometimes I'll try to snap a picture of them or there could be a detail in nature somewhere that's really, really neat. And I think, oh, well, how would that translate into knitting? And I do a lot of shopping, let's say. Like to go
even window shopping. I mean, like
see what the trends are, see what's happening, see what like cool shapes are out there, what textiles people are using, that kind of thing. And then I just either file them away in my head, which is pretty scary, or I put them in a notebook that I have where I write all my patterns in. And then you send me yarn and I get to play, and it's so much fun. So much fun. I love doing it.
And when you first start, like, is it all in one go? You have this idea and you just knit it and then it's like kind of done? Or is there a lot of trial and error, ripping?
Sometimes it happens like magic, and I have a vague vision of what I want something to look like. But then sometimes as I'm trying to achieve that, it morphs into something else that's even more spectacular, and I just kind of go with it. And awesome. I know that's kind of vague, but
no, I love it. It's awesome.
Things don't always turn out the way I had originally envisioned them, but they happen the way they're supposed to. So
as far as this sweater goes, do you remember where the inspiration came from? Or
yes, I happened to be in a cafe with one of my girls one day, and there was a young woman there who was wearing this sweater that was made up of all these little diamonds, and I just loved the motif. So I again snapped a picture of her, much to my daughter's embarrassment, and just use that diamond motif in the on the front panel of the diamond crop.
Awesome. I love it. And I love that it's an unexpected rib on the back and the way it sort of looks pieced together. And when we worked at Free People, or when I worked at Free People, we always did a lot of piecing. So like you would have different sleeves on a sweater and kind of, I love that look because it sort of looks mismatched and not just like this perfect pristine thing. So I love that detail. And it's kind of a loose rib. It's not like a rib that's tight, which is perfect for your style. It's shorter, I think. It's nice to have it be a little bit looser too. So
I thought it would be a cool top to wear. There are a lot of yoga studios around me and where I live, and I have a lot of friends that do yoga. I do it sometimes, but I'm not great. But I thought it would be a fun top to wear over your yoga clothes, or if you were lucky enough to be able to wear a cat suit.
I love that. I never would have thought of that. That's really cool to hear. Fantastic. So the next part is the last question I really want to ask you is kind of like, could you walk us through how the design, what happens once you write the pattern, sort of what happens till it is published? Because I think we've been working on this one for a while. It takes a long time. And I think sometimes people don't realize just how much goes into it.
There is a lot of time that goes into writing a knitting pattern. So it goes from concept in my head to a little sketch on a piece of paper. I'll figure out what measurements I want and do a gauge swatch. And then basically write the pattern as I'm knitting it. And then once that happens, it goes to a tech editor who will go through and grade it for us, make smaller sizes, larger sizes, based on the information that she's given or he's given. And then it goes out to a bunch of different test knitters who will be given the yarn, the pattern, and each person knits a specific size. They put their comments on it. It comes back to me and the tech editor. We go through it again, make the revisions, and then send it off to you, back to you again.
This time I feel like you were dealing with me being like, wait, Cheryl, can we add like an option if people want to knit this longer? Can we add an option for people to knit this with other yarns? So it can be a lot of back and forth, I think, at the end to finalize and get it right too.
To get it right and to get it out there for people to actually knit it up. And, these patterns are basically a springboard for your own creativity. Yes, you can knit it the way it's shown in the picture or described in the directions, but you can also put your own personal spin on it too. And it's 100%. Fun to see everyone's ideas come to life.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that I got the test knit back from Lindsay, who was doing the biggest size, and it looks almost like a poncho. It looks so cool.
Oh wow.
So put that on like the model or like the smaller size. That would be kind of an interesting interpretation of it if we want.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I'll send you a picture. So I think that could be cool. Sometimes it's fun to knit a bigger size, even if smaller, just to have a different look. And also vice versa, a super baggy sweater on a larger person can look fun, really, more fitted. So that can be another kind of creative way. But of course, like we've had people in our knit-alongs who like add pockets and just they customize to this crazy degree, which is really fun to see too.
It is a lot of fun to see. Definitely. Most definitely.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do here. So appreciate it. I might drag you back on when we have another beautiful design to talk about.
No worries. I'm here. And for me, this is so much fun. I love doing this. And I love meeting everyone out there in the community. It's just amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. You're the best. And we love you.